Today is the Health and Nutrition Generative Systems. So we are broadcasting from COP27. This is the Global Innovation Hub Pavilion Saturday. And we are waiting for the panelists, the speakers, and we will be resuming in 2 minutes. Thank you for your patience. Time to Thank you. Hello. Good morning. These were too long, 2 minutes, but we are now ready to start. We have all the connections and the videos up and running. So I would like to welcome you all. This is a very exciting and a very, very important session for us. So today we will be looking at the launch of a challenge. This is the resilient infrastructure in the face of climate change, the global challenges of climate change to 2022. We have with us the partners, strategic partners that are helping us to advance the space for innovation. We know that culture, creative, youth, the combination of sustainability action is key to advance the global agenda under the Paris Agreement. This space is much needed, and for this I would like to welcome our co-organizer is the UN Global Sustainability Fund. We would like to start them with a very exciting video that will be connected shortly, and welcome Coldplay with the key messages. Please, if we can connect. Thank you, everyone.
Hi, everybody at COP27. My name's Chris. I'm from the band Coldplay. I hope you're all doing really well. I just want to add our voice of praise and support. Thank you for everything you're doing to protect this beautiful place that we all come from and live on. And I hope it's going really well. Bye.
Thank you so much. I would like to pass the mic to the moderator that will be running the next sessions, the next part of the session. I'd like to invite Louise to join us.
Hi everyone. So we have a superstar here today, Superboy from Superman. And he's 19 years old. He's not just an actor, he's also an activist and very, very passionate. And he's here today to deliver a very important message. Alex Garfin.
Hello everyone. My name is Alex Garfin, and I'm speaking here at COP27 as a youth. When I found out this conference was in Egypt, I was honored, because it was here that was one of the sites of humanity's greatest achievement, civilization. The idea that we could communicate and cooperate and do things and build things beyond our collective understanding. We learned from generations past and moved forward and kept building until the end of the Bronze Age. The Bronze Age collapsed, however. And with it, so did the first global civilization. Now we're in a different era, one where the times are moving faster than the generations are growing. In eras past, our grandparents imparted the wisdom of living in the world longer than we had. Now, we all grew up in different worlds. And at the height of this generational misunderstanding, we're facing collapse once again. And it is terrifying for young people like myself across the globe. However, there's something exciting lying beneath all of this. In order to solve this problem, we need to take the next step as a species. Last time communication was innovated, it was right here in Egypt 10,000 years ago. It caused civilization. Now there's an innovation in communication again. It's worldwide. It's global. And we're going to need to exercise that if we are going to come out of this crisis alive. There's so much to gain beyond protecting our future by coming together to solve climate change. We can truly set a precedent for global problem solving, for species-wide problem solving. To my fellow young people, I implore you to resist the urge to get angry and to make collaborative change. I understand the frustration, I really do. I also wake up with the anxiety that our future holds of the world that we inherited. But having that anger and letting it go outward will get us nowhere. Now that our voices have finally begun to be heard, we need our actions to be felt. We must understand that the older generations are not our adversary, but our greatest and most powerful ally. We need to walk across this generational misunderstanding if we're going to make real progress. In the end, just as much as we want to secure our children's future, our parents and our grandparents wish to secure ours. Control the consumer base, but control the marketplace. Find ways to make sustainability integral to your local economy. I'm calling on each and every one of you across the globe to come up with ideas. I have a website. It's a little Google form. It's on my Instagram, and I believe it will also be on the GSF website as well. Submit your ideas. We have the resources to make change. We need the ideas. On a personal level, have new conversations with climate change deniers of all ages, not just debates. Truly attempt to not defeat people who may have been fed misinformation. Recruit them. If we open minds and open hearts, only truth and empathy will prevail. And we're going to need both in abundance if we're going to solve this crisis. To my friends in the generations before mine, I only ask you to remember your place in history. The opportunity that we possess to fulfill what humanity's been trying to do since we began. If we unite to solve this crisis, we will have a hand in this incredible leap of unity for mankind. However, the only thing more dangerous than inaction is insufficient action. We cannot believe that what we're doing is enough because we began. I challenge each of you to ask if enough is being done. Ask yourself why we can't do more to stop the effects of climate change. Ask yourself why it doesn't feel worth it to save our civilization from disaster. Why is it not possible to make saving our planet economically viable? Without a good enough why, we cannot give up on a how. I beg of you, please listen to my generation with intent. See how terrified we are of our future, and see how willing we are to cooperate. We cannot get out of this with divisiveness, but we can by using the very things that brought us to civilization in the first place. Our communication, cooperation, and empathy. The technology is almost here. We're so close. And if we do this, we not only save our future, but we do the greatest thing humanity has done since innovation last struck these Egyptian shores. Thank you.
Alex, take the microphone, come here. You're amazing. Thank you so much. You know what? United Nations started 1945. You were absolutely not born then. How old are you?
I'm 19 years old. I was born in 2003.
Yeah. And it's interesting because when an organization been around for that long, you might think that we would have been going further ahead, right? And we look back, but what we need to do now is we need to look forward. We need to take action. It doesn't matter how much people are complaining or what's going on, right? So it's interesting because you told me yesterday that you didn't just want to speak to the youth, right? You wanted to speak to everybody and you want to call for action.
Yes.
So tell me, what do you have on your Instagram? Tell me, first of all, what's your Instagram name?
My Instagram name is just my name, @AlexGarfin, AlexGarfin. And the website that we set up, and we actually just set it up yesterday, and I'm telling it to media as well, it's just a forum for people, whoever has internet access, to submit what problem they think they can solve, how they solve it, and what we can do to implement it.
So I also, it's very interesting because there is a very special person. The entertainment industry in general I'm going to be honest with you, they don't trust institutions. But there is a man that dared to take chances. His name is Jonas Svensson, and I would love to invite him up here on stage. Jonas, please. So if we jump in a little bit. Yeah. Thank you so much. And you know what? Don't go anywhere because we would love to talk to you. So Jonas, you told me something very interesting before. You said that you have set a global sustainability fund, right?
Right.
And please tell me, what do you do?
So already in 2016, together with MIT, we designed an innovation program for United Nations Office for Project Services. We realized that good ideas happen everywhere and anyone can have them. And right now, what we need are good ideas. Because when it comes to climate change, we don't have the solutions on the table today, and we really need it.
So a question, when you get a good idea on the table, what do you do with that good idea?
Right. So today we're launching the global challenge, Resilient Infrastructure in the Face of Climate Change. And basically, if you have an idea or you want to get involved, then you fill out the Google form and you have 90 days to do so. And during those 90 days, after you send in your application, there will be workshops to help you develop that idea into something more concrete. After 90 days, a panel of experts go through all the ideas that we get in, and we select between 20 and 30, and they get invited to Calgary, Canada, to basically do a boot camp for 5 days, together with mentors and experts in our network. And out of that, we select 5 to 10 that gets to stay in Calgary, Alberta for a full year. So 12 months, where they get access to mentors, they get access to investment, and they get access to experts, both from the United Nations and also from private sector and also people like Alex.
So I want to know, I read an article the other day which was saying that most of the companies today, like let's give an example, right? Silicon Valley, right? And they're working with companies to prevent climate change, resilient infrastructure. But if you look at the statistics, most of them hasn't even been in the Amazons. So am I correct if you are actually giving opportunities to whoever that don't even have the experience, right? To be funded the same way as if you would be in Silicon Valley. Am I right?
Yeah, you're right, and we have seen that. So at the Innovation Center on Antigua Barbuda, when we did the first Island Challenge in 2018, there were teams from Sony, there were teams from Google, but actually they didn't stand a chance against the local teams. We even had a group of kids, teenagers, that was wondering what was happening inside this building, and they went in and they asked, "What are you guys doing? Are we doing a challenge? Oh, can we join?" And we said, "Yeah, join." And they came up with the first sustainable business model for coral restoration. 5 15-year-old kids. That's pretty cool.
That's very interesting because, you know, we always are asking, like, we need to give the youth the opportunities, right? And it feels like that's really what you're doing here. And you have 90 days?
Right, so from today, the challenge is open for 90 days. After that, it closes, and we evaluate all the ideas we get in.
Amazing, amazing. Alex, so I would love for you to come up here. Do we have one more microphone, or is there one more microphone? So, only two. It's two more, okay. So come and sit down here.
Hello.
Hey, Alex. So, tell me, from your perspective, what do you feel about this? What do you want to say to the world?
I think we have an opportunity here to do something that we've been trying to do since our species began, and I think this is our opportunity to do it. We have a crossroads where we can either evolve or send ourselves back to the Dark Ages. Now, which side of humanity will win? Us to decide. We all have a chance to be on the right side of history here.
So, tell me a little bit about Antigua. I think that is a great example, right? Because that was something that you tried out and it was very successful.
Right, so since the start, they have generated 45 startups. And another interesting thing is that we can see the crossovers. So since we have centers at different locations, that creates a collaborative environment between nations and also solutions. So you have the Finnish scale-up, Origin by Ocean, which is seen as one of the leading green companies in Europe right now. They use seaweed to make medicines and food products. On Antigua, we have a startup that use AI to predict where the dangerous Sargasso seaweed will land on the beach. Origin by Ocean, they got one container of Sargasso seaweed sent up for testing, and it turned out that the dangerous molecules inside the Sargasso seaweed is also very valuable. Sulfuric acid has a market price. So now they are projecting to set up their first factory in the Caribbean because they have then access to this resource. So there you see an excellent example of how this sort of like global mindset works. When you have one startup in one country supplying another startup in another country, and together they solve a problem.
So, do you see that past, like I think you've been going on for a few years, right, to really work this out. Have you seen that there's been fear in people that, because they have great ideas, right, but they just don't have the experience to start a tech startup? Have you seen that, or is that...
Right, no, we see that. We see that many people have great ideas, but they don't know how to step forward. I mean, we saw that in, again, Antigua on the second island challenge. We had a team there who came up with a wristband that worked both low-tech and high-tech, because after a hurricane you don't have access to internet, for example, right? Because internet goes down. And Sony, that was in our panel that year, they wanted to invest into this startup. But the kids behind the idea, they just didn't have the confidence to step forward and bring it out.
So to clarify this, you mean that a 15-year-old could literally go in right now on Alex Garfin's Instagram and just write whatever idea that they have, and then you support them with the rest. You support them with funding, a team, business model, and
Look, we don't care about the age or gender. The only thing that we can say right now is that in the high-income world, only 2% of the people have the guts to start companies or go after their ideas. If you go down to Uganda, that number is around 18 to 20%. On Antigua, it's 15. So if you are 85 or 15 or man or woman, doesn't matter. If you have an idea, then send it in.
And
we need it.
I encourage people to not just go on my Instagram. I mean, look, that's just one platform that we could use. This is a much bigger issue than myself, and certainly a much bigger issue than my following. Put it on your Instagram. Have 15 people that you know go in there. Everyone has an idea about this crisis. Almost everyone in the world has heard about this crisis. Who knows what ideas, if given the time and the opportunity like we are trying to, could really solve something. So I encourage you to spread the link everywhere, beyond just my reach and the reaches of us.
I'm going to be honest with you, this is amazing. And when you told me about this, I didn't even thought that it was true. Like, it's really, it's really impressive. And also the innovation hubs that I heard about, please tell me a little bit about them and where they are located.
So, yes. The idea behind the fund was basically that it would be a UN fund from the beginning. However, it turned out in the end that the UN cannot hold equity in startups. So we had to go private. And to protect the deal flow, basically the companies that we can invest in, we also took over the innovation centers, the hubs. And now we are rolling out, like I already mentioned, Antigua, Calgary, Canada, Korea, Japan. The list is long. And the idea is that each location hosts 15 startups in a year, over 12 months. And those 15 startups, they are offered $150,000 for 10% equity from us, and then we provide the mentors and the experts.
Wow. And also, what's the website?
So our website is ungsf.org. And there you find all the information about this.
Yeah. And also the ambassadors will be there as well. So we have all types of different ambassadors, not just the similar one that we have seen earlier, right? I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. You kind of punk. You're kind of cool. You really are. And I'm coming from, the entertainment industry, and it's the first time I meet someone in your position that kind of are cool. You take chances, for sure.
We have to take chances because we don't have time. In 10 years, the glaciers in Himalaya will be gone, and you have 3 billion people that lose access to water. And there you have 4 countries at least with nuclear weapons. That scares the hell out of me, I can tell you.
One thing with you as well is that you have a very easy way of explaining things. Like, you told me something about how much money you're putting on one hurricane compared to the region. Please explain that.
Well, it's basically the opportunity with the climate change. If we look at the SDGs as a whole, right now we're spending $17 trillion a year, and it should grow with more than $1 trillion a year if we want to reach the goals or Agenda 2030. When it comes to oceans generate most of the weather we see, right? And one hurricane making landfall, according to NOAA, runs costs at above $20 billion, one hurricane. And the combined research spending on oceans right now is around $10 billion. And that's very nice said, because in reality, more than half of that goes to do resource exploration. So looking for rare earth metals, oil and gas. Countries like Norway, for example, they spent 10 billion Norwegian krona, but 739 million of that went to build a research vessel, which is basically doing oil exploration. So we are mixing things to make it look cool. And like I said, one hurricane making landfall, it's $21 billion in cost. So it's an opportunity, man. You should step in. If you have an idea, realize it, because that is going to be where the new unicorns come. BlackRock said that 2021, 80% of the future unicorns will be companies focusing on climate change and the SDGs.
So the same way as, for example, you, Alex, right? Like you came up with a song the other day about climate change, right?
Yeah.
And I would like to, let's do this. Would you like to play it for us?
Sure, you guys.
So let's do this. David, wait, no. Come here. I want you to take the microphone because I want to talk to you as well. You're very interesting. So Alex, please go and get your guitar. Okay. And when we're done here, we're gonna hear that beautiful song. So David,
Louise.
the finance man here, right?
Yes.
Please tell me what you do.
Yeah, so I'm the CFO of Global Sustainability Fund.
Yeah, a little bit closer to the microphone.
Yeah, Global Sustainability Fund. I'm the CFO and one of the principals. And I've spent 20 years in venture capital and private equity space. And I think for me, the really important part that many people aren't aware of is there's an oversupply of capital in the world. There's trillions of dollars of capital looking to find a way to get into viable projects, particularly in the climate change sector. The challenge is that the capital has strict constraints around how it can be applied to certain projects and certain companies. And so to me, one of the biggest kind of, dichotomies we have in the world is you have all of this capital looking for a way to get into viable climate change projects. We focus on technology, but the same goes for infrastructure projects, et cetera. So our focus and our real mandate is how do we create an organization that can take this capital, this oversupply of capital, and make it suitable to go into these young companies. And so Jonas, obviously, as kind of the brains behind this, came up with this global network of innovation centers, and by us helping get these young companies, and not even just young companies, I mean, we're scale-ups as well, but get them fit for investment. And the idea behind having these companies in these centers for a year is to allow them to be ready to actually accept capital so that this amount of capital in the world can find a home.
Interesting. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Thank you. And Alexander Garfin.
Yes, Alex.
So you're not just an actor. Yeah, so you're not just an actor. You also, I'm going to come around to you and support you a little bit with the microphone here. All right.
All right. Let's try to now do a song. Y'all weren't expecting this one, right? No, conference. Now there's a song. This whole room. Okay. I wrote it in 10 minutes on my way over here. On my way over to COP. Ask yourself why. Well, I didn't do that right. Ask yourself why you don't pour gas on the flame when it burns our children's name. Ask yourself why you don't believe we'll drown when the tide is neck to the ground. Maybe it's because you feel some guilt, but you can be the one to solve it still. If you join us, you'll save our future. Ask yourself why you don't believe in wind. When the trees blow, you turn your head. Ask yourself why you don't feel the rain. When it's wet and can't sustain. Maybe it's because you feel some guilt, but you can be the one to solve it still. If you join us, you'll save our children. We've grown so big, we can hold the earth to throw. Now that it's in our hands, you know that we have to be the ones to grow. We can't let go, we can't let go, we can't let go. Ask yourself why you have the slide when the power is on your side. Ask yourself why you think I'm free when you don't give a world to dream.
Thank you. Amazing. Yes, amazing. So as we said before, we had a lot of supporters. We also have Chris Martin from Coldplay as well. Can we please play that message again?
Hi everybody at COP27. My name's Chris, I'm from the band Coldplay. I hope you're all doing really well. I just wanted to add our voice of praise and support. Thank you for everything you're doing to protect this beautiful place that we all come from and live on. And I hope it's going really well. Bye.
All right. So thank you so much for everything. And on your website, you will also have an ambassador site as well with all the ambassadors, and it will be a lot of news and interesting stuff in a new form, I will say. So I really hope to see you there. You will find Alex there and many, many more. And yeah, we will have a lot of activities happening around the world for next year. And yeah, thank you.
Thank you,
everybody.
and I want to do a shout out. If you are an investor or you're sitting on dirty oil money that you want to clean,
Yep.
Sean, stand up.
Yep.
Contact our fundraiser.
Sean, come here. Come here.
There might
come
not
here.
be any room in fund number 1. It's closing now in November, but for fund number
No,
2.
we have one more here actually. Perfect. So what do we do? Let's say I'm an investor. I have some money that I want to put into actually something good this time that is also profitable, right? Because that's the whole
Yes.
point. What do I do with my money? Tell me.
You would contact us, and we would sit down. It would come to our investment committee, and we're going to take a look and see if it's actually, in alignment.
Closer.
Sorry,
Yeah.
we're going to make sure it's aligning with the goals of the 17 sustainable development goals, and then you put it in. Money goes into our fund. And our investment committee distributes according to the hierarchical needs of the world at the time.
So you're saying this is profitable, right? How profitable is it?
So one of the main concepts is sustainability. Without profitability, it's not sustainable. It will diminish eventually. Money is an incentive. If you don't have an incentive for people, they're not going to continue. And that is a key factor, and that's why we created this fund. Without money, people will talk about it, and then they'll stop doing.
So are you talking about that I'm getting 10 times the money back in 20 years, or what are you talking about here?
Actually, you have some good metrics on that. Sometimes there's a unicorn. Sometimes it's even more than 10, 20 times. Sometimes it's 1,000 times. It depends what it is.
And
That's why we're bringing
it's
these
minus.
innovation ideas in. Right? It's a pool, it's a funnel. We've created a funnel for the money to meet the funnel for the opportunity. And the current opportunities are stagnant, they're old, and that's why we brought Alex here, and that's why we're all here, is to bring in new ideas. So that money gets put in front of new innovations, and the metrics on that, they're pretty big.
And actually, Jonas, I want to go back to something as well that you said with the startup hubs, right? Isn't the chance kind of bigger to find somebody that actually can nail it if they actually live where the issues are, right?
Yes and no at the same time. So for example, if you live near the problem, like we saw on Antigua, for example, we also seen it in the DRC, your understanding for the problem is greater than if you come from somewhere else where you don't have the same problem. But at the same time, technical solutions can be made everywhere, right? But since you're disconnected from the problem, it's difficult for you to find your market. So for example, you have in Finland Scale Up, which does solar-powered desalination. Desalination is very costly, and it's a need, right? Because we need water to drink. So solar-powered desalination costs around 15 to 20% compared to other things. But they sit in Finland, so they don't have the ties to the market. And that's where the UN have a role to play. The UN is well positioned to describe problems, but also to find technologies in one place and bring it to another in collaboration with private sector. So that's what we're doing.
So you're a connector.
Yeah.
That's what you do. You connect.
Mover and a shaker.
A mover and a shaker. And kind of punk as well. I have to say that again. I'm so sorry. I know it's not normal to hear in a climate situation like this, but you know, I can't lie. That's the truth. Yeah, so does anyone want to say something, or does anyone have any questions, maybe? Yeah. Yeah. You see, we kind of punk here, right? This is why United Nations never invited me for 10 years ago.
Hi. Hello, everyone. So I'm the CEO of a company which is one of the leaders in France in regenerative agriculture. So we usually use low-cost technology and low-cost approach to regenerate ecosystems. So what is the place of this kind of initiative in your phone, and how do you create value and in the field of nature-based solutions which are based on low-cost technology and low-cost,
So, no, yeah, and it's a very good question and a good point. So, the Island Challenge of 2022 was actually agriculture. One of the main problems for small island development states is basically agriculture. And it's because of several reasons. One is the limited space they have. And there we want to find solutions such as yours to bring that there and see if that can be useful. So basically you need to do what Alex said in the beginning. You need to fill out the form so that we know how to contact you. That's basically it. And you don't have, that's the thing, right? Even if you are a scale-up or an SME or even a multinational, if you have a solution, then we want it, because then we don't have to spend 5 years developing something. We can just bring you there.
Yeah, and I'll add to that, Jonas. I think, you know, our focus is impact. So, you know, low tech is actually obviously more sustainable for many reasons, but for us, our focus is impact. And what we really look to achieve is not just fund companies like you, bring in mentors, experts. You know, we'll assess. You know, we have Deloitte or PwC as a partner in one of our centers, but the idea is to make sure that you're fit for growth. And we'd like to do something we call cross-pollination, and that is once you're ready for for the big stage, we have contacts and connections, obviously across the UN, but government level contacts that we want to try and actually implement your technology. So as Jonas is saying, in Antigua we were there a month ago, and we issued the global challenge on food security and food sustainability for small island developing states. There's 58 countries that are part of that program, and it's all being headed out of Antigua. So, you know, assuming that you come in and we work with you, the ultimate goal is implementation. 58 countries that could use your tech. And so that's our real focus.
Yeah, and I'll add to that too. Don't think about the money. We don't want people underfunded. We're the place. If you have money, you want to make a change, come to us. If you have an idea and you want to make it happen, we will help you make it happen. Don't think about the money. There's enough money out there. It comes through us. It goes to you. and it gets done.
Well, we get some of that money too when you become successful.
Yeah, and also, I think we should talk about the new layer, right? That from start as well, you have ambassadors that is also pushing the project from start.
Right. So basically, what we have created is a mentor pool. Sorry. A mentor pool consisting of experts from universities like MIT, Harvard, and so on and so forth, but also successful other entrepreneurs. So that if you are a startup or entrepreneur, you get someone who has already done it that can help you on that journey. And on top of that, we then have our ambassadors, which are basically people with a huge following, famous people most of the time, that have an interest, same as all of us, because we're facing the same problems, right? To fix these problems that we're all facing, fix these challenges with climate change, the SDGs, together with our startups.
Yeah, exactly. On our website, we will also find tomorrow more messages that they're delivering for COP as well. Kim Kardashian is one of them. David Jassy is another one. I mean, the list goes on. Daniel Meriwether is another one. We also have performances, and they also are, expressing themselves, because they're not just musicians or actors like this. They are also human. They and it's important with the large following that they have. And if you have a great idea, that idea has to, in the most effective way, spread out to people all over the world. And that's what we do.
Great. I think we're pretty much done, right?
I think so too. Thank you so much. Thank you. And
Thank you, everyone.
for flying all the way from
Thank you.
Toronto. This is very important. All right. Thank
Cheers.
you.